Hello, and welcome back to Start Smart with Heart. This podcast is about asset literacy, leadership, and building systems that support long-term stability for individuals, families, and communities. In our last episode, we discussed why leadership development is one of the most valuable investments a community can make. Today, we're talking about something that begins even earlier than leadership development, something that shapes how future leaders think, act, and make decisions. That topic is stewardship. Because before someone can effectively lead resources, organizations, businesses, or communities, they must first learn how to steward what they already have. Today's episode is about why teaching stewardship early strengthens future generations.
Stewardship is bigger than money. When people hear the word stewardship, they often think about finances. Money certainly matters, but stewardship is much broader. Stewardship is the responsible management of anything entrusted to us. That includes time, relationships, knowledge, opportunities, resources, property, leadership responsibilities. Stewardship begins with the understanding that everything we manage has value. The question is not simply, what do I own? The question is, how am I managing what has been entrusted to me? The mindset changes how people make decisions. Instead of focusing only on consumption, stewardship focuses on responsibility, and responsibility creates stronger outcomes over time. Many adult behaviors begin as childhood lessons. Now, early lessons become lifelong habits. The way people think about work, responsibility, money, commitment, service, these ideas often develop early. That's why teaching stewardship to young people matters so much. When youth learn to keep commitments, to care for possessions, to manage resources wisely, to think about consequences, they begin building habits that serve them throughout life. These lessons may seem small at first, but over time they become character, and character influences every major decision a person makes. Communities that teach stewardship early often produce adults who are more prepared for responsibility later. One challenge many communities face is the loss of knowledge between generations. Stewardship creates generational strength. Valuable lessons are learned, but they are not always passed forward. Stewardship helps solve this problem because stewardship includes preserving knowledge and sharing wisdom. It recognizes that each generation has a responsibility to prepare the next. This is especially important when discussing economic development, leadership, family assets, business ownership, land management, community institutions. When stewardship becomes part of community culture, future generations begin their journey with a stronger foundation. They don't have to learn every lesson the hard way. They can build upon the knowledge that came before them. Leadership and stewardship are deeply connected. Stewardship builds future leaders. Before someone can lead others effectively, they must learn to manage responsibilities faithfully. Future leaders are often identified by how they handle small responsibilities today. Do they follow through? Do they act responsibly? Do they think long term? Do they protect what has value? These are stewardship questions, and they are also leadership questions. Communities that teach stewardship early are often developing future leaders without even realizing it, because stewardship builds discipline. Discipline builds trust. Trust builds leadership, and leadership strengthens communities. Now, before we close, I want to share a piece of wisdom from Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. Many people hear this verse and think only about money, but inheritance is much broader. It includes values, wisdom, knowledge, character, stewardship. The greatest inheritance we leave may not be what we own. It may be what we teach. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Start Smart with Heart. If this episode encouraged you to think differently about stewardship and future generations, consider sharing it with someone who mentors you, leads a family, or serves their community. Next time, we'll discuss why asset literacy should become a core part of workforce development and economic self-sufficiency, because earning income is important, but understanding how to build, protect, and transfer assets creates lasting impact. Until then, start smart and lead with heart.